Starting now, this is Real People. Real issues. Real news. Real people.
I'm Stephanie Allensworth, and this is Real People.
This is Real People.
Hi, welcome to Real People. I'm Stephanie Allensworth. Today we have my friend Rusty Gatenby with us here. Hey, Rusty, how you
Haven't seen you in like forever, but okay, thanks.
I know, it's been so long. So tell us what's been going on with you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I know by the time folks probably tune into this, they'll already have seen it, but I'm about to do a review of The Lion King. My career involves, movies and entertainment, but what's exciting for me, 22 years ago, my assignment was to follow the making of The Lion King, the musical. So I went out to New York, sat in on the rehearsal, the comps, costume design, chatted with Julie Taymor, who I'd never heard of before, who most people hadn't heard of before. Elton John was, the guy who wrote the music. Yeah. Followed all the way to Minnesota, July 8th, 1997. I was there for the first world premiere audience of Lion King the musical, which went on to now become the biggest smash theater production in the history of Broadway, over $8 billion in ticket sales, 8.1 billion if you're counting. So when you asked, was that the answer to your question? Well, what are you up to?
22 years ago.
I know, and I posted it on my Facebook, Rusty Gatenby on Facebook. I posted the link to Facebook, and some of the comments were, wow, you're so young. And I was like, and you're so skinny. I know. I know. But I was actually late 30s. I was almost 40. 22 years ago. Yeah.
No,
so,
you're over 40?
22 years ago, I was about to be 40. Yeah. And at the time I felt old. But now looking back at it, I have to agree. Yeah. Wow, I was so young and skinny. So now they're doing a CGI photoreal remake of the animated feature, not the musical, but the animated feature. They're two different things. There's different songs and such in the musical. Mm-hmm. And so that is going
This is
to
a
be my review.
live, right? Like a live action?
That's what it looks like, but it's all artists rendering CGI.
Really?
With technology that makes it look like real desert, real trees, real grass, real fur, real Pumbas.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, none of it is real.
And you're going tonight,
real.
Right? Tonight is when you see it?
Yes. And
okay.
Then, by the time of the series, you already have seen it. And
you'll have already seen it, but you'll do your review on it and give it tomorrow on
WCCO-TV. Yeah, for the last, I did 31 years on Channel 5, and for the last, going on 5 years, I've been the WCCO movie critic on Channel 4, so that's been fun. It's fun to having a job where you go to movies and then you get to, you talk about what you liked, what you didn't like. And then I still occasionally get to go out and hang with the stars. I used to do that all the time at Channel 5, but recently, in fact, this past Mother's Day, as a bit, I said, instead of listening to this fat Tuttlard do his review, let's get the moms to do their review. The three anchors, my mom. Let's ask them what's their favorite movie and have them do the review. So my mom picked Dances with Wolves. Oh. Kevin Costner did a great little 25, 30-second review. Well, cut to about 2 weeks later, I get a call from Paramount Studios. Hey, would you like to interview Kevin Costner? And I'm like, absolutely. So they flew me out, did the whole thing, stayed in the London Hotel right there in the Sunset Strip near the Whiskey A Go-Go and the Troubadour, and showed Kevin my mom's review, and he looked at camera like a pro. I was just hoping he'd say something short. So he gave a nice, oh, Peggy, it's so nice, your review and the details that you mentioned, and blah, blah, it was just great. So, again, fun gig.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, what were the other movies that the ladies said were their favorites.
Who cares? This show's about me. What are you doing?
Okay.
I don't care about them.
Okay. Well, I just thought maybe it would be interesting.
It was Devil Wears Prada, When Harry Met Sally, and Funny Girl.
Well, those are
very
three
eclectic,
classics. Yeah.
And I like all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have I seen all of those? Yeah, I think I have.
Funny Girl would be the older one, the Barbra Streisand.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Love Babs.
So yeah, I grew up loving movies. I remember the first movie I saw, and I've already established that I'm old, was Mary Poppins in the theater.
Yeah.
Dick Van Dyke, Julie Andrews, and the entire wall came to life. And the fun aunt brought me because my mom was busy with another kid or whatever. I had no idea what I was going to, and then the curtains open because it was one of those huge ornate theaters, and here it happens, and I was just floored. I was just amazed, and so thankful that it happened to be a wonderful movie. And then Sound of Music, I saw that in the theater. And so from that moment on, I was like, somehow I've got to find a way to get involved in this because it's so magical.
Yeah, so it all started for you with the aunt when you were young, the fun aunt, because I had one of those too. I love that.
Yeah.
And she introduced you to the big screens,
Right.
and from that moment on, this has been
And it was funny
your
because
mission.
We didn't have, obviously, the internet and all that stuff, or cable TV. We had the 3 channels.
Yeah, with the pliers.
Yeah. By the way, I remember the moon landing, okay? All right? Vividly. My mom would buy show albums, and the albums like Mary Poppins, you could actually open it up and there was pictures. So that was I'd play that like once a day, it seemed like, and just look at the album. But in your mind, you're having the whole Technicolor thing as you listen to these songs. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. Your mind is just replaying all those images. So yeah, I was hooked right away, and I wanted to be Spielberg ultimately. I wanted to direct my own movies. But then you fall in love with a gal, and you get married and you buy a house, and suddenly you're like, well, we got to pay the mortgage.
Yeah, that old
Let's
chestnut.
get real here. We gotta.
You must now work 3 jobs.
Yeah. Well, Channel 5 came pretty early, 1983. Right out of college, the age of 23, I started working there, and that was a steady paycheck. And then they, because it was a non-union shop, would let you touch any of the equipment. So I learned how to shoot video. I knew nothing about TV. Learned how to shoot video, produce, direct. And Bob Bruce, who was the sports guy back then, took over for Barry Zavan, said, you're always making jokes and being a wise ass. Can I say that? Wiseacre is what I said.
Weisenheimer.
Weisenheimer is what I said. What did you hear? I didn't say that. Said you should get in front of the camera. So I did several auditions. There was they were going to try this new thing in this market because some of the other markets had done it with traffic reporting on television and from a helicopter. So I auditioned, and they were like, no, it's too flowery. You got to cut this and say that differently. And I was like, my gut said, no, you got to give the information, but you have to be engaging and you have to be likable. So I resisted that's right, 494 is slow and go, stall on the side, speeds reduced to 30 miles per hour, road work up ahead. Back to you.
That's boring.
I resisted doing that.
Yeah.
So I finally had an audition with one of the new news directors, and we booked time in the studio, and got to get the helicopter. That costs money to do that. So it was a legit audition. So I'm up in the helicopter. Meanwhile, this relatively new show, Nightline, spur of the moment, basically, decides to bring Ted Koppel through to do a little, no, I always watch, doing a station ID with our anchors.
Oh, really? Okay.
But for whatever reason, they said, no, Mr. Koppel, you're going to have to wait while we're doing this quick traffic audition. or we got something scheduled just before you. And I wasn't there, but this is what someone told me. So after I finished, Ted Koppel asked the news director, Mendez Napoli, who was that? And Mendez said, Ted said, he was good. Who is that? And Mendez goes, oh, that's our new traffic reporter.
Oh.
So
it was just an audition for you.
We think you got the job.
Yeah.
Because they both, so thank you, Ted Koppel.
Oh, wow, that's pretty amazing. So I also remember watching you, and by the way, Barry Zavant has been on this show.
Oh, yeah.
I interviewed Barry, so.
Hey, Barry, hope you're feeling well.
Yeah, well, we watched him because he was funny.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the same reason that my husband and I every morning would watch you on TV. Uh-huh. So, because you're the morning guy, right?
Yeah.
We'd be getting ready for work, and of course you'd be on. And when Rusty came on, we always had to stop and watch because it was always going to be good.
What kind of shenanigans is he going to get into?
Shenanigans and colorful, and just like kind of makes you laugh and gets you ready for your day. So we thank you for your service.
Oh, hey. Once they got me on TV, I really started to push boundaries and expand shtick, what we were going to do. After the helicopter crashed during a commercial break, we were not too far from here, 494 and Highway 100. In
the Seagate parking lot. Magnetic peripheral
right
control
by that,
data?
Yeah.
It was in our parking lot. I worked at that company.
Were you there when I crashed?
Uh-huh.
You didn't say hello or anything.
I didn't know you then.
Oh. We made a big entrance.
It was quite the entrance.
We came down on fire and everything. I talk about an out-of-body experience. We dropped 100 feet a second. It took us 6 seconds before impact. And as we were going down, I thought, well, I see we have a parking spot. This glass is probably going to explode in my face, so that's going to get all cut up. My legs are definitely going to break, but I think I might live through this. I didn't realize underneath we were on fire. So we hit, the doors kind of flew open, we sunk into the parking lot, and I took inventory, and I'm like, not a scratch. I look over to the pilot, I go, hey, high five me. And he goes, I just ruined the helicopter. I go, we're alive. High five me now.
Right.
Yeah.
What I didn't say.
So then we moved to the studio, and that even opened up more opportunities for shenanigans and shtick. And I brought in fog machines, and actually.
You get any chickens?
David Cassidy joined me on a report. Yeah. That was surreal because
I think a lot of women just went, oh, David Cassidy.
Well, so as a kid growing up with red hair and freckles, I always wanted to be David Cassidy. Of course, I was more of a Danny Bonaducci. I know we're talking over a lot of your people's heads, but so it was quite surreal after we did the show. He was very fun. That he's like, hey, I got some time before he had a radio thing he was going to do. He goes, you want to throw the Frisbee? And I'm like, oh, okay. So we go in the parking lot, and it's a summer day, and my child voice is, could you ever imagine throwing the Frisbee with David Cassidy? Come on in, song that we're singing. Come on, get happy. And I'm like going, this is so bizarre. And it was great. And another reason that I actually stuck around for so long, and I was like, maybe this gig isn't so bad. And then I, was able to do the movie reviews and start meeting the folks who make the movies, the Spielbergs. I interviewed Martin Scorsese, all the big shots.
Wow. Yeah. Great gig if you can get it, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was 31 years at Channel 5, and now,
WCCO.
Now doing stuff
TV.
at WCCO. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably. Well, we already talked about it on the other episode, but Paul McCartney was a big one. Mick Jagger was. The funny thing about. Do we have time for my Mick Jagger story?
You certainly do.
I was used to, as technology started to advance, there started to be more satellite interviews where the celebrities would just be in New York or LA, sometimes even London or whatever, and then they'd have a camera looking at them in the studio in an earpiece, and you could just do the interview from Minneapolis. Hey, it's Garth Brooks. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And if I didn't have studio time or the studios are booked, the people go, that's okay. We'll record you asking the questions. You know, they'll call you on the phone. You could be anywhere, and you could, you know, interview whoever. Hey, Tony Bennett, you know, how you doing? Tony Bennett, I literally got up from a nap. The phone rang. I'm in my kitchen in boxer shorts and a t-shirt. Hey, buddy. And I'm like, I'm interviewing Tony Bennett right now. In the early afternoon. I did that with the Bee Gees. Same thing. Got up from a nap. I didn't even get out of bed. I'm interviewed. They've just been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hello, Rusty. And I'm like, hey,
I'm still
Robin
in bed.
Morris. I wouldn't say that. But then they'd ship you the tape. You get the tape, and there it is, a beautiful studio. And then I could cut my parts in.
Right.
Back at Channel 5. But at that moment, Tom Cruise, I did it in my backyard on the deck in the middle of summer, talking about Brainerd and Paul Newman racing and such. So the same sort of thing happened. I got a spur of the moment call, woke me out of a nap going, hey, how would you like to interview Mick Jagger? The Rolling Stones were coming to town. Jesse Ventura was our governor. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And they go, he's landing at the executive hangar at the Minneapolis International Airport. I went, oh. I thought it was going to be a satellite thing. So I'm like, yeah. And how soon can you get there? And I'm like, when's he landing? In like 45 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'm there. So I called the station. I go, Mick Jagger, you got to free up a photographer. There's always a battle for photographers in the news department because it's like, well, did he kill anyone? Is his house on fire? I don't know. We got to save these photographers. Remind me to tell you a story about that. So anyway, they send me a new photographer. She was brand new. We get there, I meet at the executive hangar, and for whatever reason, because MTV was still kind of a thing, I grabbed my then bulky home video camera, and I thought, you know, for additional B-roll, I'll do some MTV kind of stuff with it. So we get there, and I'm like, oh. Every station in town got that phone call. Oh. I thought it was just me. So 9's there, 11's there, 4's there. I'm like, oh, well, I go, all right. Well, we're going to position ourselves so that at least we get, you know, to the front of the line. You know, these guys they're all crime and political reporters. I'm the entertainment guy who's dedicated to this. So I glance over to tell my new photographer, who I'd never met before, the plan, and I see her struggling, like wrestling with her equipment, like pulling cables out going. I'm like, oh no, this is not going to go well. I go, we all right? Are we okay?
She doesn't know which end to plug in.
She's like, no, we'll be fine. I just, we'll be fine. And then we get from the Rolling Stones PR, okay, his Learjet is landing. And I'm like, are we good? And I see everyone starting to pick up their stuff. And she's like, she's not answering. Now she's sweating. And so I just grab my camera and I go to the PR guy. I go, I'm good to go. I'm Rusty Gibby. Yes, yeah, okay, good. So I actually do lead the pack out. I don't have a photographer now. Brings me right up to the tarmac. The door pops open. I turn on my home camera. And here's the line of photographers, and Mick Jagger and I make eye contact. He walks right up to me, thinking, okay, he must have thought, oh, this is cool. I did the interview. Everyone else is like trying to get the interview, and I'm just doing this. Hey, Mick, welcome to Minnesota. Oh, thanks. You know, made it Jesse Ventura Day. Blah blah. Yeah, and then the other folks, I think, were expecting him to do the line, but he went, okay, nice talking to you, and away he left. I was the only one he talked to, and I'm like, I have it on this little home video camera. So now that tape goes from 7-year-old hockey to Mick Jagger to birthday parties. But we were able to use it and make it like an MTV kind of a look to it. Thank God. And save the day with.
Well, yeah, they're all there with their camera people, and you get like the only rookie in the pack, and you're the entertainment guy. What is wrong with that?
I didn't have a tie on. I was dressed hipper.
And he talked to you, so there you go.
I think he saw the home camera, thought, oh, this is the hip
Oh, yeah.
the guy. I'll do the hip guy. Not knowing that this is a real desperate dude.
Desperate moment.
Yeah. And that photographer, by the
At least
way,
you didn't have a hand puppet going on at the same time.
she ended up being a very good photographer. So she became very good at her job.
Well, that's good.
It was just off to a rocky start.
To a rocky start. Yeah.
I alluded to, you know, the hard news folks in the newsroom and such. And being an entertainment reporter, you are kind of looked down on, which is fine. I don't care. I'm having fun. I'm going backstage with Garth Brooks. You know, how's that garage fire going for you?
Yeah.
So there was one time where I had an interview set up with Elton John, who I'd interviewed several times before, at the Target Center, because he had just set at that time a record for the most consecutive nights. And I couldn't do it. I think it was some sort of a family thing where I couldn't do it. So I said to the news director at their morning meeting, I go, you know, this is set up. I can't do it. We really can't pass this up. So the news director looked around and said, all right, who wants to interview Elton John? People were like, and the one was like, okay, let's pick Bob. So Bob McNaney went and did it. And I'm like, you guys really are missing the boat. I mean, how much fun is Bob going to have at the Target Center with Elton John while you're out doing the new road construction live shot? Come on, give me a break. So
I find that rather amazing, actually. That,
yeah, well, I didn't care. I'm
like how uppity can you get?
Well, and missing the point. You're all taking yourself a little too serious. Life is short. Let's have fun. You know, let's embrace joy.
Yeah.
So that same news director who was into hard news, when he came in, quite often when news directors came in on board, everyone was in fear of, oh, look out, the hatchet's going to fall. He's got to make his statement. People are going to get let go. So Chris Berg came in, and he had a reputation, just a little guy. Hi, Chris. But it was kind of, you know, had a hard reputation. He wasn't sure what to make of me. It was like week 10 days in, we really hadn't sat down yet, and he goes, you know, we really have to talk. I'm like, sure. He goes, this entertainment stuff. I go, you like movies, don't you? Well, all right, I will tell you that Robert Duvall is one of my favorite actors. I will tell you that. So sure enough, a week and a half later, Robert Duvall was coming through the cities to promote his Tango movie. He was doing like a very small barnstorming of a handful of markets, and for whatever reason, Minneapolis made the cut. So he comes into studio, do the interview, and I say, Mr. Duvall. He goes, no, call me Bobby. Bobby.
Bobby Duvall.
Do you have a second? My news director is a huge fan. Oh, sure. Yeah. So we walked to the newsroom. There's Chris leading the morning meeting. His back is to us as we're walking in, but all the reporters see Robert Duvall walking in with Rusty, and he can sense something's going on. So he stops like a mid-sentence, turns around. He's like, I go, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Academy Award winner Robert Duvall. They're all like,
slow clap starts.
I go, Robert's in town for he's promoting his new movie. He's a big fan of dancing. It's Tango. Robert, this is the morning meeting where they're going to decide on what news to cover. This is Chris Berg, our news director. Chris is like, he's like, so what stories are you thinking about covering? You know, and I gave them a 10-minute moment with Robert Duvall. I walked him away. I'm not going to say, but I did get my contract signed with a big raise. And much more freedom to do.
To be Rusty, yeah.
To be Rusty and do other fun stuff.
Well, that's a great story. I mean, and why not do that? Whatever works, right?
Yeah, I mean, I figured you got to go with your strengths, and you got to kind of go with, in life, your gut a lot of times. You know, got to be ready to make the shot. When you get that opportunity, though, you know, be prepared. Take that shot.
Yeah, why not? Take the shot. I think that's a brilliant way to live, and I think you should continue to live that way, right? Just keep doing it. Keep doing what you do, because you do a good job of it.
Hey, all right.
There's a reason. There's a reason I'm having you on this show. I want my ratings to go up.
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, Rusty Gatenby.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah. So it's.
You've got a following, and Facebook. They can find you on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. We got about a minute left here, so let's just talk about what's next for you. Are you looking to do, in 54 seconds, what's next?
Well, so I'll be back here next week and every week. No, we're going to ride out the summer and soak up the warmth, and then get ready for winter, and then fall is the Academy Awards season, and I get to vote on the best pictures and all that stuff, and go out to
Hollywood,
go out to the award show. But live in the moment, soak up the sun, wear block.
Wear sunblock, yeah. I know. I've had a little trouble with the sun myself.
Really?
So.
I'm a red hair with freckles. I've never had one issue. I've had about 100.
101.
Not just one. Yeah.
Well, we're rolling down. I want to thank you, my friend, for being here again.
Yeah, no problem.
Or next week, or whatever.
Yeah, I'll come back whenever you like. I'll share more stories from Rusty.
Thank you for being here. Keep it real. Bye now. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. And you can follow us on Twitter. We're also streaming on YouTube, so check us out there. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's free.